Hello my lovelies, welcome back to my channel. This is your girl Angel from Simply Angel Tia. In this video I'm going to show you guys how to crochet this headband or ear warmer, and as you can see here, it's so simple that you guys will love making so many of these for Christmas gifts, to donate to homeless shelters, whatever the case is. I love that as crafters we can make these kind of stuff and donate it to people who are unable to afford buying these themselves. So I myself will be making a whole bunch of these so I can donate it to the homeless shelter here in my city. So I hope you guys can make them for that as well. But if you just want to make it for your friends and family, this is a very simple thing to do. So yeah, I'm going to be showing you guys how to make this. The width or the wideness of the ear warmer is up to you, so I'll talk about how you can just get the sizes that you want. The same thing with the length of it, or the size of it, if you want to make it for a child or for an adult or even for like a teenager, adolescents. I will tell you throughout the video how you can measure to get those sizes as well. Okay, so this is what we'll be making, so let's go ahead and get started, and I will show you guys everything that I used to be able to accomplish this. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. Okay, my lovelies, so before we go ahead and get started on this video, I'm going to talk about all the materials that I used for it. And as you can see here, I have everything laid out. So we'll talk a little bit about the yarn first. I am using Impeccable by Loops and Threads. It's probably one of my favorite yarns to use for most of my projects, but that's what I'm using. And all your measurement units are right here. Okay, so you know how much to go get depending on how much you end up using. It's a medium weight number 4, and recommended hook size is a 5mm crochet hook or H8 US. Okay, this is all the information on how to take care of it, what not to do and what to do, and what else. And the color is called burgundy. Okay, so just a little bit about the yarn. I usually talk about the yarn that I'm using for my project. Of course, you have the full freedom to use any color you want, any size of yarn you want, and anything like that. So I'm just simply showing you what I'm using for this project. Okay, and for my crochet hook, I'm using what is recommended, which is a 5mm crochet hook or H8. You can use a 4.5, or you could even go to a 5.5 and a 6. That is all up to you, and it all depends on how you crochet. Some people crochet tight, and if you crochet tight, then you need a yarn that a needle that is a little bit bigger, or crochet hook that is a little bit bigger than what is recommended. And if you crochet loose, then you go a little bit lower, or you stay within that if your tension is usually right on point. Okay, I have my scissors here that I'll be using to cut my strand. Then I have my darning needle here to be able to join my project together, and then of course my tape measure. This is most of the time optional for me, so I show you guys to have this, because if you're making any project that you're making for someone else, it's important to know what the sizes are for them. For me, I know my size. So for this headband, for example, I know the circumference of my head is about 21 inches, and so I'm going to do a band that is about 20 inches, because this particular pattern is also very stretchy. So I will do about 20 inches long. And in terms of wideness, it's up to you. So you can make your headband as wide as you want. You can make it as narrow as you want. Okay. All right. So that's all we have for this. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, my lovelies, so to get this project started, we're going to start, of course, by doing our foundation chain. And to do a foundation chain, we're going to start with a slip knot. And as you can see here, I'm leaving a long, tail here. And the reason for that is we're going to use it to join our project at the end. Okay, so leave a little bit longer. This is actually not a mandatory thing. You can just gonna do it the same way, but I tend to like to start by leaving a chain like this, or like a tail like this, so I can join my work easily after. Okay, so to do our foundation chain, we're going to start with a slip knot. And this is how I do my slip knot. I just kind of pinch this in the middle here. And as you can see too, those who are not used to me, I do put my yarn on my finger like that. This is probably not something that's common and that you will see with a lot of people doing that, but I do that. So you will just kind of wrap it around your thumb like that, and when you look on the other side here, there's an X, and then I use my middle finger to pinch it, and then I let it go by pulling it off of my thumb. And then I take my crochet hook, I put it in that circle that I just created. Then I yarn over by going underneath the line that is running from my finger to my index finger to these two fingers, and I just go underneath and I pull it. I have it like that. I let go, I pull, and that's how I do my slip knot. So again, you don't have to do it like this. You can do it however it makes you easy, because we all learn differently. You may have learned to do this in a different way. I'm just showing you how I do it, okay? All right, now that I have my foundation chain here, my slip knot here, I'm going to start with a foundation chain. I'm going to do a chain of 17, okay? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so that is my chain of 17. And the reason I'm doing 17 is because I'm trying to do a band that is about 3.5 inches wide. Okay, so depending on how wide you want your band to be, you're going to either do more chains than 17, or you're going to do less than 17 to make it a little bit narrower, or more than 17 to make it a little even more wider than this. Okay, all right, now that we have our 17, I'm going to flip my work this way. Okay, and I am going to skip the 17th chain here, and in the 16th one, I'm going to go in the back of that, and I'm going to do a single crochet just like that. Okay, I'm just gonna try to see if I can zoom in a little bit here so you guys can see clearly, hopefully. Okay, and I'm just gonna focus it a little bit more here too. 1 second, so you can actually see what I'm doing here. Okay, all right, now that I am a little bit closer like this, it's clearly to see. Okay, clearer to see. And then I'm just going to go into the next stitch here in the back of the chain, and I'm going to do another single crochet. Okay, then I'm going to go right back into the next one and do my single crochet. Okay, so again, I'm working in the back of the chain. So if you look at these lumps up here, that's what I'm working into, and not either of these two front stitches. I'm going in the back. For those of you who follow my project, I love to do this back of the chain because it creates an even finish in the bottom. And I'll show you what I'm talking about here in a second. So if you look at this, it has these V shapes as well as the ones on top. So it creates a very nice kind of flat topped here. Okay. And that is what we're going to do to the end of this row. Okay, so just single crochets in the back of the chain all the way to the end. And by the time you get to the end, you should have 16 stitches all together, because we skipped our 17th stitch when we started this first row. Okay, so go ahead and finish that off, then come back so I can show you how to start row 2, which is also our repeat row. Okay, so as you can see here, okay, I have my first row completed. Okay, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you how to do the second row, and this is going to be your repeat row until you get to the end of this project before we join it and make it our completed headband. Okay, so to start our second row, I'm going to do a chain 1, turn my work. Okay, and we're going to start to work in the back loop of these stitches. And after my chain 1, there's this first stitch here right after your chain 1, and we're going to go right in the back of that back stitch and do our single crochet right there. Okay, and then we're going to move on to the next stitch and pick up the back loop, and this is called a single crochet back loop or back loop single crochet. Okay, and again you're going to do this until you get to the end, and when you get to the very end you're going to come back. But one thing that I do for pretty much all of my projects, when I do any kind of back loop, any stitch that goes in the back loop, when I get to the end of the row in the final stitch, I usually end up going through both loops instead of just the back loop. And the reason for that is just a preference for me. You don't have to do exactly that as well. I prefer to do that. Why? Because I find that it makes my work nice and flat. So as you can see, guys, I'm just talking to you while I'm completing my back loop single crochets, and I hope you're doing the same. If I'm going too fast, just pause the video and work as fast or as slow as you prefer. Don't rush. I know those of us who are a little bit intermediate, I consider myself intermediate in crochet, we tend to go a little bit faster. But if you're a beginner, just take your time, pause the video, and come back when you have caught up. Okay, so as you can see here, I have a final stitch to go right there. So instead of picking just the back loop to do my single crochet, let's just try to see how it looks. If I did that, that's how my final row looks like. I don't like this. It looks weird to me. So what I do is I go through both of these loops here, and to me it looks nicer because it finishes it off like that. Okay, so this is only my second row here. I am going to do, like I said, about 20 inches. And what that is for me, it's going to be about probably about 70 to 74 rows. Okay, so after you've determined what the measurement of your circumference of the head of your head is, or the head of the person you're making these for, then you're going to see how many rows you need to do to attain that length. And when you have that, then you come back to the video and I'm going to show you guys how to join this end and that end together to have our twisted headband. Okay, so I have my 2 rows here. I have a long way to go. I'm probably going to do about 74 total. So I have about 72 more to go, which is long, but this goes fast because it's a very small or short row. It's going to go really fast. So go ahead and do that. Don't forget, it's all going to be working on the back loop of this with a single crochet stitch. Okay, so go ahead and complete that. When you have the number of rows you require, come back to the video so we can complete it off. It's a very simple project. So we're pretty much going to be doing a final thing and then it's done. Okay, so see you guys in a bit. Okay, my lovelies, so I have gone ahead and completed the number of rows that I require for my headband. As you can see here, this is the length for it. So I did 74 rows total. Okay, and this is where I ended up right now. So as you can see, this work is super stretchy. So if you just do this with this right now, you see how stretchy it is. And that is in part because of the going back in the back loop of the stitch like this. It creates this almost like springy feel to it. Okay, so and again, you're gonna do this in the length that you're looking for. So just to show you guys quickly, so I said I wanted about 3.5 inches for the wideness of it. So as you can see here, I'm at about 3.5 inches. If you can see that properly, let's see if you can zoom in a little bit here. So as you can see here, I'm at about 3.5 inches. Okay, and if I measure the length, so again, the length of my circumference, the head, the length of my, what am I saying? I cannot speak. The circumference of my head is about 21 inches. And I said I usually try to get to about 22 inches. But as you can see here, if I measure it, it's kind of exactly at 18. Oh, there you go, at 18 inches. But if I just stretch this, oops, my tape measure is kind of coming off. So but if I stretch this a little bit here, so let's just show you here, if I stretch it a little bit, it gets to 20. I could stretch it even further to get to the 21, even 22, but usually I tend to come between the 18 and the 20 depending on how stretchy the pattern is. So in this case here, the pattern is extremely stretchy. So I'm still at 20 even just with stretching it a tiny bit. Okay, look at this, just a tiny bit. It's that stretchy. So that's what I'm talking about. When you measure, make sure you're not making it too loose, because the material or the pattern itself is extremely stretchy. Okay, so this is how we're gonna join it here, but it's gonna be a twist joint. So I'm going to first of all end these up here. So what I will do is I will just kind of fasten these off like that, or actually cut it up first. We're gonna end this right here. And by the way too, just sorry, I'm talking a lot today. So I said to leave a long string on this side to be able to join your work. If you don't do this, that's why I said it's optional. If you don't do this on this end, then when you cut your yarn off here, you can do the same. Okay, so that is pretty much just, we're just leaving it on one side instead of the other. So we're gonna fasten this off here. That's done like that. And we're going to join our headband right like this. Okay, but because we're creating a twist pattern or a twist finish here, we need to make sure we're going to do it in that twist form. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to fold this in half like this. Okay, you see that? And then I'm going to do the same on this side. And it doesn't matter what side you're folding it into anyway, by the way, it's any side is fine. And now that I have my two pieces like this, I just have to open each side and insert it into each other. So it's almost like you're just fitting it into each other like this. Okay. And make sure you work it nice and properly so that it's right at the end and it's not underneath. They're all lining up really well like that. Okay. And now that it's all lined up like that, I'm going to take my darning needle. I should have done this before I folded my work, but let's see if I can manage to do this like this. You will take the long side that you had left out at the beginning of the project. And we're going to, I knew this was going to be challenging. I always make my work a little bit harder than it should be because I just do. It's okay. Okay, I'm gonna hold this down like this. That way my finger is a little bit freer here. And there we go. And now that we have that, like that, we're going to join it. And what we're doing here pretty much is we're just going to make sure we're picking each of these four parts that we have folded the four parts into, and we're just going to sew it like this. Okay, so we're going to go right from the very beginning here and make sure you're picking all four to the other side, and you can go through both loops on this section here, and then you're going to bring that together, and then you're going to pick up the next set here and you're going to pull it together. I hope I'm not blocking you guys here because I cannot see the camera right now, but I hope you guys can actually see this. But this is pretty much what you do all across. Okay, so go ahead and do that. And I want you guys to watch this little bit of a tedious process here, but just join your work all the way here. If you need to go back this way just to secure it even better, go ahead and do so. But go ahead to the end here. When you get to the end, come back to the video and we will pretty much flip it to the other side so we can see how it looks like. Okay, so go ahead and finish these off and come back when you have finished sewing it to the end. Okay guys, so I have gone ahead and pretty much sewn this to the end. So as you can see, this is the end of it here. I did it pretty secure so I don't have to go back this way to do more. So what I'll do here is I'll just fasten these two guys together, the short one that I had left out at the end and whatever is left from me connecting it together. I'm just gonna sew it here. If you're one of those people who like to weave in your ends, this is where you will weave in these two ends, but I just fasten it together like that and then I just snip them off. It's all up to you. We all do things differently, as long as your work is joined like this. So as you can see, we just joined this section here. Now the coolest part of this is when you flip it, then you get your twist. Okay, So that's where your twist is, right here. And that's where your headband is done. Okay, so you can either have this twist as part of the front of your head, on the side of your head, or even as the back of your head. So it goes like this, and this will be the back of your head. This is super cool, right? This is very simple. And by the way, too, for those who usually ask what size do I make for a child, for an adolescent, for whoever, just follow the same thing that I said at the beginning. Just measure or get the measurements of the person's circumference of their head. And when you have that, then you're able to determine what the size is that you can make for them. Okay, so that's pretty much it. So this is pretty much where it will be the part that you wear on the inside of the band, and then this is the side that is showing. This is the side that is on the outside. Okay, so I hope you guys enjoyed this simple project with me. I'm showing you guys these small things to do because Christmas season is around the corner. If you make a whole bunch of these for your friends and family, especially if you live in a cold climate, these are great for warming your ears if you're gonna be out, especially if you're not gonna be wearing a toque, or you don't feel like wearing a toque that day. You can just wear a headband or ear warmers like this, and you will have your ears nicely covered and warm. I will continue to do more of these in different styles. That way you guys have some projects that you can use to make your friends and family some Christmas gifts. Okay, all right, so thank you so much again for watching to the end. I hope you guys had fun with this simple project. Again, if you have not yet subscribed to the channel, guys, I ask you to please subscribe. This really does support me to continue making these projects for you guys. And don't forget to also like the video. Don't forget to comment if you have any questions, or just to say good job, or whatever the case is. And as well, check out the description box, because I do put all the information about this project in the description box. Okay, thank you so much again, and I will see you guys in my next video. Kwaheri.